Hello, sir.
Good morning, sir. How are you this morning?
I'm blessed. I'm
Afternoon,
blessed.
where
Good to
you are.
see you, Stan.
Good to see you
Man,
too.
I'm hanging out with Mr. Johnson here. This is all right.
Oh, it's such an honor, such a pleasure to be hanging out with you. Thank you for having me. I keep wanting to say this morning because I'm in Los Angeles and it's still, still morning time here.
Oh man, well, good morning to you. And I thank you for making time for this too. I've been looking forward to this for a very long time. And real talk, I mean, I know I'm speaking on behalf of a lot of people when I say we're not just a big fan of who you are and what you continue to do, but also just the example that you continue to set for so many of us. This is it's a real blessing watching somebody who is a real as I call it, an activist.
Yes.
Someone who's using the craft to be able to make us all better and make society
Okay.
better. It's a big deal. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. It's just such an honor, man. I, I hope, we're just talking as guys. When I say man, I don't mean it in
This
disrespect in any way.
so good.
I've been such a fan of your work, what you do, what you've done for the state of Maryland. I've been watching you. I've been keeping an eye on everything, and it's such an honor to be here with you today.
Thank you. It's a real honor. I mean, I'm loving where the state is going. I'm loving the momentum that we continue to see. I mean, Maryland's just moving faster than other states, and I like
Right.
that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I like the fact that we can set the example, and we can, and it's perfectly fine for us to be in our greatness,
I was.
and let the entire country follow. But the thing that I know is none of this happens alone, right? None
Right.
of this happens just because. And one of the reasons that I was so excited to be able to speak with you is both in the role that you're playing with Mr. Johnson, but also in your role throughout life, is you celebrate others
Right.
along this path, and we work together.
Yes.
And now that people are going back to school, now that we got all of our babies who are now getting ready to go back into the classroom, and all of our future leaders who are getting ready to go make a big impact, and also all the educators. And by the way, shout out to all the educators, shout out to all the
Yes.
teachers, shout out to all the principals, all the guidance counselors, shout out to all the mental health professionals, everybody. Shout out to the cafeteria workers, shout out to the
Everyone.
janitorial staff, shout out to everybody who's out there making sure that all of our kids can get everything they need in order to go out and be great. But you always talk about the importance of mentorship,
Right.
the importance of bringing people together, the importance of seeing each other and lifting each other up. And so I've always been curious. I'm excited to ask you, why was that always so important for you? And why was that always so important in the way that you didn't just live your life, but in the way that you brought on your professional work in this as well?
Well, it happened at a very young age. I'm very familiar with your story, and I was going in the wrong direction for quite a bit of my high school years. I got kicked out, and it was
Mm,
mentorship or people that who mentored. And I think teachers are mentors. Teachers, and you were talking about teachers. Just want to also give a shout out. Teachers are the most important people in our lives. I think that they have been criminally
yeah.
underpaid, and
Yes.
but all the teachers that I've had have been mentors to me. But there've been a few special ones that have really changed my life, and I like to call them angels because angels appear when you need them the most. And those were the mentors that really put me in the right direction, saw something in me, and thought it was something worth saving. And I've tried to repay that in every way that I possibly can.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. We always talk about that moment when, you're seeing. I have a story. I talk about my seventh grade Spanish teacher, where
Yes.
I had a record that I'm not proud of, but I was
Right.
really kicked out of every class
Right.
in seventh grade except for my Spanish class. And then finally, I think it was like November, December, I got kicked out of my Spanish class. Senora Rothstein was her name, and she sent me to the principal's office, and I went to the principal's office, and I went and sat in the chair that kind of felt like an assigned seat for me at that point. And then Senora Rothstein came into the principal's office, and when I looked up at her, she basically had like tears in her eyes,
Right.
and I was so taken away to see her with tears in her eyes. And she said to my principal, who she said to him, she said, the thing that gets me most, it's not that he's hurting me. It's that he's hurting himself,
Right.
and he doesn't even realize how smart he is.
Right.
And I never forgot that, because that was the first, I had a teacher telling me how smart I was,
Right.
despite me being so disruptive in every class, despite me
Yes.
being, that kid. Having that teacher say that he doesn't even realize how smart he was. And I always say, the next day, I literally sat in the front of her class, and I stayed there for the rest of the year, because like from that point on, Senora Rothstein and me, we were like, that was my ace from that
Wow.
point on. And so when you find somebody who is willing to fight for you, and you find somebody who is willing to see the beauty in you, flaws and all,
Right.
right? But who sees the beauty in you and is willing to fight for that,
Right.
there's no feeling like it.
Wow, we have similar stories. I have Miss Leathers. I was telling a friend of mine earlier. She was an English teacher in high school, and I love poetry. I love words. I love music, and she recognized that in me. And she did the same thing. Made me sit up front at her desk most days, and she would look at me and she said, "David, you love those words, don't you? You love the words, don't you?" I said,
Mm,
"Yes, ma'am, I do." And I'd be in there, and in my street attire, because I've got my boys and all of that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And that was became invisible to her. She saw me, and she recognized something in me, and that was one of those. She was a mentor, but that was one of those angels that I talked about moments ago that really kind of helped me go into the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And when
yeah.
people come up to you and they ask you and they say, like, well, how do I get involved, or what do I do, or well, how do I make an impact? Like, what do you tell them? What guidance and counsel do you tell them for that?
Well, there's this old saying of each one teach one.
Mm,
Um, there are organizations, of course, but I think that if you have a genuine interest in helping young people, you find, first of all, the different organizations, you can do that. But I think on your own, I've had neighbors when I was growing up that saw something in me that wanted to help, you know, teach me something or show me something that would benefit me. So
mm,
I would say if you know a young person who's going in the wrong direction and you really want to help them, first of all, sit down with them, talk to them, find out what their interests are, find out if they have dreams, and let them know that their dreams are possible. Show them by example. That's the first thing. But there are organizations that you can join for mentorship,
yeah.
and I think that if someone is really serious about it, they should do that also.
Amen. My mother used to say something that always stuck with me. She said uh, that kids need to think that you care before they
Mhm.
care what you think. Um,
Exactly, and yeah,
you know,
yeah,
that if someone believes that you care about them, then you've got them, right? You've
right,
got their heart,
right,
you've got their mind,
yeah, yeah.
that. But people need to think that you care before they care what you think. And
And
if you
you
can
have to
do
show them.
that,
Yes,
show them.
show them. Yeah, and continue. It's not a one time situation, because children. I was obstinate.
Yeah.
Someone would tell me to do something, and my grandmother would say, the stove is hot. You touch the stove, it's hot. I'm not going to tell you again. But if I touched it again, she'd look. So my point is that children, they need to be nurtured. You can't just tell them one time and expect it to change. You have to tell them, and you also have to show them by example. And I had some great examples. I had, in my story, I talk about my third grade teacher was my aunt, my mother's sister. She was my favorite aunt, and and she grabbed me in my collar when I was in her class the first day and let her know that she expected excellence.
Yes.
There was not going to be any free rides, but she also nurtured me and cared for me, and she didn't make me feel any more than anyone else in the class. But when we weren't in school, she was like my best friend. But she let me
Hmm.
know that I had to toe the mark, and that was one of the best things that happened to me too at a young age. But I think that young people, you have to be on a constant. It's almost like a hamster on a wheel. You got to constantly tell them. You got to constantly show them. You got to constantly embrace them and love them. And I mean, love them. Let them know
Yeah,
that you love them.
that's
And I
right.
think that will somehow sink in. I know it did for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that you said the word love, because, oftentimes I think when people use the word love, it's like it's empty. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And it's very temporary. It's very physical. It's very
Right.
what it's like. Nah, like love is when I see the greatness in you, regardless of what's coming
Exactly.
back. Love is when I want nothing but the best for you in
Right.
all circumstances,
Right.
even
Yeah.
circumstances that might not be in my best interest. But if they're
Exactly.
in your
Yes.
best interest, that's what I want.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
that's loving someone.
Right.
That is caring for someone. That is protecting someone. That I just want to focus on protecting your life and your legacy. And I'm willing to sacrifice mine and my legacy in order to do that for you. That's when I love you. That
That's
there's
really love.
nothing, literally nothing I would not do for you. And
Right.
and I think that, when you have people who are in the lives of our young people, and it's like, and again, they're willing to believe in not even what that young person is. They're willing to say, I'm willing to fight for the hope of you.
Right.
I'm willing to
Oh.
fight for
Yes.
the hope of you.
Yes.
That
Yes.
even though it takes a little while, I always say I had people who were willing to hold my dreams up long enough to wait for my shoulders to become broad enough that now I don't need their help anymore. I can hold my own dreams up.
Right.
But I always couldn't do that.
Right.
I needed people who were willing to hold my dreams up and wait for my shoulders to broaden out.
Wow.
Then they can be like, these dreams are
Yes.
now yours.
They're
Take them
yours. Yes.
and run with them.
Yes. 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 We are both very lucky in that way because I
Mhm.
had so many people, family members, and as I said, mentors through the school system who took an interest. But my family, they gathered around me. We talk about a village. Just my family village alone, they prayed. They made sure that I had what I needed, and they literally fought for me. They literally fought for me, and I think that once a young person understands that um, they can go, they everything. I was raised in a house where I never heard the word no, the word impossible, or the word
Yeah,
can't.
yeah.
No, you can't. Impossible. They told me to go for whatever it was that I wanted to do, and that's what I did. They didn't sometimes agree with the route that I took to get there, but they encouraged and when they saw me make mistakes or if the road got a little bumpy, they were there to kind of knock the dust off of me and kind of straighten me back up. And I
Hmm.
think that we all need that. We all need that. And that's what I try to do with young people. I used to teach in a class, and I really tried to nurture the actors that I worked with and let them know about how tough this is, but if this is your dream, to keep moving, keep going for it, and don't forget to give back along the way.
Were there ever parts in your journey, particularly when you got into acting, when you were like, you know what, this is too hard, this is too tough, it's too uncertain, and what kept you going, even in those moments when you're like, you know what, this is not going as I would have expected for a while.
That first part is almost like an everyday experience, you know. I, it's a tough business, but it was something. It was my dream, and I, there were a lot of lean days. There were a lot of roadblocks, a lot of potholes. But I kept, on the journey. I kept driving the car, so to speak. And I think if you have a dream and you really want to achieve that dream, you have to do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Sometimes I heard a kid say, I slept in my car for days. I heard someone else said, I had my lights turned out. I've had those experiences, but uh, I was determined. This is what I wanted to do. I never gave up.
Mm,
Duke Ellington said, I use this quote a lot. He says, rule number one, don't quit. Rule number two is to never forget rule number one.
mm,
And that's the way I've tried to live my life. I've tried to really stay focused, keep all the noise and all the distractions out because distractions come all the time. And that's what I try to encourage young people to do.
that's
It may
right.
not happen, and Cheryl talks about it a lot. Shirley Ralph, my
Yes.
castmate, she says it may not happen in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, or your 60s. But if you are true to it, it will happen. If you stay focused, if you stay on the journey, it will happen. And that's what I try to
Yeah.
encourage young people and older people too, because older people have dreams that they still want to go after. I'm one of them, and I just stayed on the journey, and I tried to make a difference along the way.
Well, you've done it, and I'm gonna tell you right now. You set such a beautiful example for all of us, and the beautiful thing about dreams is that you accomplishing your dreams is actually helping other people establish their own. You know, you doing what you do is helping a whole legion of people figure out what it is that they want to do and making them realize it is possible. And so I can't tell you I can't tell you enough how much you mean. I got one more quick question, then we're gonna let you go.
Sure.
Give us something about the next season. Anything you can drop off, anything you can any jewels you can drop for us about what we're gonna see?
I'm gonna do my best to tell you without compromising. You're gonna see more. You're gonna see more of Janine and Gregory's romance. I don't know which way it's gonna go, but you're gonna see more of that. You you are gonna see more of Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson's gonna play a much bigger and more important role in the school this year, and that's about all I can tell you without getting in
Listen,
trouble with
you gave us more
my,
than we
my
got
boss.
before. So you just for all y'all who are watching right now, you just got something that you have not got from other places. Insight about what's going to happen this next season at Abbott Elementary. So
we,
we are looking forward to it.
we have a crossover episode, and I was gonna say the only reason I can't tell you more is because my boss is not. She's small, but she's mighty, and I love her so much.
Well, listen, I hope you know that you got all of us cheering for you and all of us
Oh,
grateful
thank you
for you
so
for
much.
the for not for again not just the remarkable actor that you are, but just for the remarkable man and human
Thank
being that you are. So God bless you. This has been beyond an honor. I'm
you.
thankful for you, Mr. Johnson. And
Oh,
I look forward to we look forward to seeing you again soon. And to everybody out there, God bless y'all. Keep
thank
pushing.
you so
Keep
much.
pushing.
Thank you so much, and it's such an honor to be here. And I will be in Maryland, and I hope to see you there when
Oh,
I'm
come
there.
through. I got a crab cake for you.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna take you up on that. Thank you so much, Governor.
Please do. God bless you. God bless
Okay.
you. Thanks,
Okay.
y'all.
Bye bye.